In today's news headlines, another individual whom is alleged to be linked to the passing of Haitian president was held in Jamaica. Another key individual linked to the passing of former Haitian president P0lice has been captured in Jamaica. However, it is quite unclear where John Joel Joseph, a former opposition senator, was apprehended by the Jamaican law enforcement personnel. The Jamaican police were still carrying out the necessary verifications to ensure that this individual is as they believe. Joseph, who is Haitian, was listed among 5 individuals for whom Haiti's Justice Minister Rockefeller Vincent said the country would offer 6 million gourds for their arrest. The other individual, a former military officer, P0lice, was deported from Jamaica on January 3, in keeping with an order by the Supreme Court. However, he was reportedly intercepted in Panama by U.S. law enforcement agents and taken to Florida, where he was charged with various dangerous activities related to Moise's passing. Moise lost his life at his private residence overlooking the capital on July 7, 2021. He was reportedly hurt 12 times by individuals using dangerous tools. He had holes all over his parts and several to his lower areas. A part of his eye had been taken out and some bones were broken. His wife, Martine Moise, was also hurt during the incident, but she survived. Curfew has been imposed in sections of Savannah-Lamar in Westmoreland. The police have imposed a curfew in sections of Savannah-Lamar in Westmoreland. The curfew started at 6 p.m. on Friday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Sunday. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows: north along Seaton Crescent running easterly to the intersection with Darling Street, east along roadway north of Seaton Crescent that adjoins Darling Street, Morris Street, Great George Street, and Rose Street, east along Hudson Street, Gulliway east of Hudson Street to the shoreline with the Caribbean Sea, southwest along shoreline with Caribbean Sea to the south of the Goodens River, where it drains into the Caribbean Sea at the edge of the mangroves, west along the boundary, which then extends in a northerly direction from the mouth of Goodens River, where it drains into the Caribbean Sea at the edge of the mangroves, to Grotto Road in the vicinity of the edge of the mangrove on the eastern side of the Goodens River. During the hours of the curfew, all persons are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. The Police Federation has mentioned that rank-and-file law enforcement officers are committed to tackling dangerous activities across the island. They have mentioned that more than 60 persons have lost their lives since the start of 2022. The chairman has said that whilst the force remains under constraints arising from ongoing issues with the government, this has left them without a lot of morale. According to the chairman, the government has paid scant regard to the cries for these individuals who are requesting better remuneration, resources, and working conditions, notwithstanding the many talks at the negotiation table. He mentioned that despite the poor treatment, members will come out strong against dangerous activities and individuals who are bent on creating issues across the society. There was a volcanic eruption in the Pacific along the west coast. Is currently under a tsunami advisory. An undersea volcano erupted in spectacular fashion near the Pacific nation of Tonga on Saturday, sending a large tsunami wave crashing across the shore and people rushing to higher ground. A tsunami advisory was in effect for Hawaii, Alaska, and the U.S. Pacific coast. There were no immediate reports of hurt or the extent of the damage, as communications with the small island nation remained cut off hours after the eruption. In Hawaii, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center reported waves slamming ashore from half a meter in Naliwili, Hawaii, to 80 centimeters in Anale. They are relieved that there are no reports of damage and that only minor flooding throughout the islands has occurred. On Tonga, a video is seen showing large waves washing ashore in coastal areas, swirling around homes and buildings. New Zealand's military has mentioned that they are monitoring the situation and remain on standby, ready to assist if it is requested. Satellite images display a huge eruption, a plume of ash, steam, and gas rising like a mushroom above the blue Pacific waters. The Tonga Meteorological Services has said that a tsunami warning was declared for all of the archipelago, and data from the Pacific Tsunami Center showed waves of 80 centimeters that had been detected. While Alaska and along the U.S. Pacific coast, residents were asked to move away from the coastline to higher ground and to pay attention to specific instructions from their local emergency management officials. At this time, whilst they have not issued an advisory for this length of the coastline, they are not sure when the last time was, but it really isn't an everyday experience. Many are hoping that persons will elevate the importance of this matter and treat it with severity. It was further said that the waves are already slamming ashore in Hawaii and were just under the criteria for a more serious tsunami warning, with the measurements at 80 centimeters in Anale and Maui. Waves of about 91 centimeters or above would trigger a warning. It was further mentioned that they are currently expecting waves of 30 centimeters to 61 centimeters along the Pacific coast. It was further stated that residents in these areas should expect waves and strong and unusual currents for many hours, and there could be some low areas that are inundated, such as marinas and harbors. The important thing is that the first wave may not be the largest. We could see this play out for several hours. It looks like everything will stay below the warning level, but it's difficult to predict at this time because this is a volcanic eruption and we're set up to measure earthquake or seismic-driven sea waves. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.